to Atlantic Ocean, upon me hills to country, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia, for Liberia, Liberia, for Liberia, yeah, 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 yeah. From Monday to Sunday. From Monday to Sunday, it's focused on Liberia. Talk about home affairs, hey, in diaspora, foreign affairs, hey, reliable information. Talking about culture, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Panelist.
Well, hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to another Sunday. Welcome to another On Point here on Focus on Liberia. I am your host for today, Michael Padmore. Our original host, Jerome Gaiman, is out on personal leave, and hopefully he'll be back next week. We are wishing him safe travels and a productive time wherever he is. Today we have a really good show. We have our panelists here with me, so we're gonna say hi to everyone, and then we're gonna get the ball rolling. J. Victor Namwe, how are you this Sunday, sir?
Hey, Mike, how are you? It's good to be here. Happy Sunday to all. It's a great day. Praying for Liberia. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much. Dr. Fidel C.T. Buddy, how are you, sir?
Well, I'm partly excited and partly not. You know, my Arsenal team had an emphatic win today against Man City, which is really good. But then I heard that Lofa won. They counted me, so that kind of brought me back down a little bit.
How you managed to beat City?
I'm glad to be here. Sorry?
How you managed to beat City?
We scored 5 goals.
How you manage?
By scoring 5 goals.
I gotta go and watch that game because I still get it. Huh?
No, you should. You should watch the game. It was.
I will go and watch that game.
It was an emphatic statement. Yeah, it was an emphatic statement. It was great win, great Sunday, and Mr. Gaiman not here, but I know tomorrow Chelsea will be taking it too. So you know.
All right. Mr. Towell, Joseph Towell out of Houston. How are you doing this Sunday, sir?
I'm doing very good. It's a nice weather here today. I think we're like in the high 60s, low 70s, which is very good. And I'm glad that Mr. Namwe's Eagle made it to the Super Bowl because I hear about Eagles every day.
Oh my God! Yeah, when it comes to the Super Bowl, I'm really torn because I don't like the Eagles. You know, their fans are just, oh my god, they haven't
I
even
want
won
to
the
take
Super
a
Bowl
win.
yet, and they are already, I mean, just out of this thing. Can you imagine
So,
the win?
we are what we are. We're very competitive. We don't care who likes us, who don't like us, who don't like us, but we will impose our will on you. You be whether you be the Patriots or the Chiefs or the Steelers or whoever you are, all comers. We're ready. We are Super Bowl ready every day.
Okay, all right. I mean, it's look. You guys have, like you said, you guys have imposed your will. I think the best two teams are in the Super Bowl. I think. I think. Um. I don't want. I don't think it would do the league any good to have a three-time champion. I think it would diminish the league. I really think it will. So I'm not cheering for
Am I
Kansas City
hearing
anyway.
Mike rooting for the Eagles? Is Mike really coming out to root
No,
for the
I'm
Eagles?
not.
Why
I
can't
have
you just
no.
say it already? I mean, come on, go ahead and say it
I'm,
already.
I'm just I'm just gonna watch a really good game.
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard.
I'm
Glad
gonna
to
watch
have
a
you.
really good game, and I
Glad
think
to have you in the green camp.
it is the passage. If there's somebody that the Eagles need to beat to bolster their arrogance, I think it's the Kansas City Chiefs. If
You
you
know,
guys,
we I tell you this, Mike. Eagles Nation. We like Andy Reid. He's a very, very good coach.
yeah, yeah,
We contributed to his greatness,
mhm,
and so we like Andy, but we let him know uh, on the 9th. We
mhm.
don't know who Andy Reid is. Andy who? We are taking that cup. We have unfinished
All right.
business
And
with the
man,
Chiefs.
hey, in the Chinese show there, the teacher can teach you a last move. Like the last already stroke. The teacher can teach you that one. So when your brother Andy, they all know for real what is what. But it's good to have you guys on.
Great to be here.
Yeah, man. So let's get this started. That's okay. I did not see that. But anyway, yeah, let's get this started. So I'm gonna run through the topics here really quick, and then we're gonna get this moving. So the first one is the county meet has come to a close. I'd like to congratulate Lofa County. Lofa County was able to survive into the finals. It seemed going to the finals, it seemed like Lofa County had proven to be a superior team. I'm not shocked. I think the Cinderella team was Grand Gide. Nobody really expected Grand Gide to go that far. People were thinking on Nimba. People were thinking on Maryland. People were thinking on other teams, but Grand Judah managed to survive and get in there. And today they lost, I believe, 2-1 to Lofa. The president was on the fee. So anyway, let me hear your guys' thoughts. My thing here is, I grew up in the 80s during Sunday school time, and I saw the power of sports in Liberia. I saw the power of football in Liberia. And once again, let's not sugarcoat it. We have a very divided nation, politically, tribally, and in so many different aspects. Economically, um, the country meet just ended. What do you guys think? What are our gains and what are our misses when it comes to this thing? I'll start with you, Dr. Booty.
Well, I think for me personally, what I've seen when it comes to the county meet, it it is serving the purpose of unifying Liberians. I think over the last few weeks, since the meet started, well, initially in the counties, and then obviously coming to Monrovia, I think it has distracted Liberians, a lot of us anyway, from the ills in society, right? So for a moment, we can put aside all of the difficulties that are going on. We can put aside all of the concerns and stresses and strains that people are experiencing, and just focus on joy, celebration, having fun, and being one people. I've seen a lot of my friends, on social media, and I was included as well, teasing the people from Lofa County, saying that we begged them, when I you are what daughter today when they win. And some of us supported the people from Grand Gide, because we've got friends from Guaranteed as well, but because we didn't want Lofa to win, because obviously the president will take credit and his cronies, most of them in government, taking very big salaries that they're not entitled to, will be passing around here, spending that money, enjoying themselves. So we didn't want that. But in terms of what you're talking about, in terms of what the county meet means to Liberians, my dad, I think it was in the 70s, I think, played for Nimba County in the county meet. And it was a time when young people were galvanized around a common cause, a common purpose, a common denominator in terms of football, right? Not just, I'm from this county or from that county. It was about football. It's about coming together. It was about having fun. It was about being Liberians. And I think if I can be honest about the situation, I think what this county meet has done, this one in particular, it has brought us together as Liberians. Obviously, tomorrow is Monday, and some of us will then divert, start doing our criticism again. But I think for a moment in time, for a few weeks, all Liberians have come together, and it's a great thing. And the hope is, and I was talking to someone in Liverpool last weekend, and we're saying, look, it would be nice if all of the games could take place in the counties, right? Where each county will have an up-to-date, state-of-the-art stadium, where the group stage, do like group stages, where the group stages games would take place there, where the knockout stages would take place there, and then maybe the grand final comes to Monrovia, right? Or to Painesville. Everything else takes place, because I think what that will do is it will get a lot of us outside of the capital city. It will take wealth and resources to the counties, because you have to travel there, you have to book a hotel. Like those of us who follow European teams, if your team's playing in Holland, you have to go to Holland, you got to buy a plane ticket, you got to book hotel, you got to eat in restaurants. All of those things bring money into the local economy. So I think I think it's the Ministry of Youth and Sport, correct me if I'm wrong, that is in charge of this, they need to start thinking outside of the box. They need to talk to the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism and say, look, how can we develop the tourism sectors in these counties to be able to cater to large crowds coming in to watch football matches? How can we garner support to develop stadiums? One in each county, right? It doesn't have to be, it's just one in each. If we play all the games in Rivergy, Main City, no problem, but at least one in each county that can take 10, 15,000 people, that people will go there to watch their team. I think that will be, Mr. Patmo, more in the direction of what you're used to from the 80s in terms of that kind of galvanizing spirit, because then we're taking football to the people, we're taking the county meet to the people, and it's not just those of us in the Monrovia who can afford to go to SKD that watch it.
Okay, that sounds. I know right now, the beginner stages is done in the counties. The first round done in the different counties and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people might think like, oh well, we only get 15 counties. It doesn't have to be county; it can be regional. You can do it regional. You know what I mean? I notice Ghana does a lot of their development regional. They don't look at things, county wise or sector wise. When you talk to a Ghanaian, you take region.
Yeah, no
Northern
region,
region, Western region. Yeah. So they notice they speak from that point of view. So I definitely I agree. We should do it regionally. You know what I mean? Cut it into 4 regions, and the four finalists from the region meet in Montreal and do the semi-final final. It's done, but everything else is done in the county. I think that would be great. You ask a lot of people, especially when it comes to the Southeast. You ask a lot of people, have you been? They say no. They never been to Maryland. They never been to Grand Gita. They never been to Grand Creek. They don't even know how it's looking. Beautiful places. So now you just got to get out and go. Have a reason to go. Have a reason to go. And, and the president can drive this. Because you know what happened? When the president get out and say, oh, I'm going to Southeast region to watch the football game. Guess what? All his ministers and anything gonna do? They're gonna get out and go there. Nobody stay Maria. All they'll go there. And then they will carry the family member, they will carry the friends, they will carry the girlfriend, and they'll go and they will put money. Yeah. So my man, I'm just being real. They will put money into the region, and once people see that, they want to go back. It's like the Nima Lodge. I know a lot of people who had never thought about going Nima. until they saw the Nima Lodge, and they were like, "Man, I go to Nima Lodge at least one weekend every month because it is that beautiful and that relaxing." But anyway, let me jump here on Mr. Tao. Let's talk about football, content meet. What we should really gain from it? What are we missing? What's your take, sir?
Okay. So before I come to that, first of all, I want to throw light on something. We are really not divided. You see, the division that tend to exist is at that political level amongst those crooks who would, based on their own interest, based on their own differences, they start to want to project themselves as representative of those counties and then use that to drive some kind of wedge. But if you look in Liberia, we actually I would travel among, you never heard that a Gil man went to Lofa and they beat him, they killed him because he was Gil. You never, this thing actually happened in other countries, in other nations. We never heard that other than when the war came, which was actually a whole different stuff. But we interact, you never hear the other person say, I'm not swallowing fufu because I'm not Basa man, or I'm not eating kasao leaf because that loma food. We don't have that. So we need to have our people to understand that don't try to go against your fellow Liberian because Yeke Koluba and Elden Snow, they're having their differences. They're out of a certain. One person claimed that, oh, you want to talk about the Gil people or the Loma people, then the other person wants to talk about the Fire people, then they're drawing the people in. So we should cut that. But if you really look, we are not divided. Like, yeah, there are differences. There's some stuff, but it's not that much. It always comes when those guys that are sitting in politics, when they stop misbehaving among themselves, then they want to draw on the people, almost like even the late Prince Johnson. Yeah, you all fought in some war. The moment they mention war crime code, my people in Nima, they will take a single barrel and all of that stuff. Then the people start saying, oh, hold on, we have this guy that we must defend. And they don't even know why they must defend him, most of them. So I just wanted to clarify that. But look, Dr. Booty made some very, very good points here when he spoke. And I think that was the actual spirit of this county meet when it was founded. But the reason that we didn't move in that direction is, most of what he said, that is actually how it's supposed to be considered. But you see the guys in power, what you take is to actually apply effort for you to achieve something. Those guys have no intention of even applying any effort or actually even trying to make any kind of push in any way that will actually allow them to actually expend themselves energy and actually to kind of brainstorm. Because there are no consequences for it. If the guy sit there superintendent for 5 years or 6 years, he doesn't even have to do anything. Nobody even hold him responsible. He is never audited. He is never. So what is going to make them? There are no consequences. There is no repercussion. So it is these things. So yes, that is actually how it's supposed to be. It can be they do it regionally, like you said, or they set it to where they cut them in the 4 regions, north, south, east, and west, and then they group them in there and they play from there, and whoever the champion or the 2-3 guys that come from there, then they come together maybe in Monrovia and play, or as they envisioned it before, the whole county may go in one county or one region and it's play there. Maybe like somebody say here, maybe it don't need to be every year. Maybe it need to be every 2 years, so it create the means for them to gather more resources. Or maybe it's every year. Since Monrovia have a little bit of infrastructure, it's maybe every other year it go in one of the counties, but then the other year is play in Monrovia. So that way you have 2-3 years in between where they can build the infrastructure of that place, do the roads, do everything, then they go there. Then the other one play in Monrovia, then they skip, they go, so like that. But something like that should be done. But you see what we are saying here, this stuff is really simple. Look, when we say state of the art stadium, look in Europe, look in some of the places. I look at Sheffield United in their field. I look at even Ancient Villa. Those are very small, easy stadiums. This is not that difficult. my brother, for like about $300,000-400,000, they can build a very, very decent stadium. Actually, it's not that difficult. I'm talking about decent, something where it can be in. They can build something high enough, because we're not talking about like, oh, they need to have 3-4 million. Not even that. Just even 500,000, 600,000. But where the money is going to come from? All the guys are sitting on there, and guess what? When we start something like that, with the kind of system that, before you know it, you can call about his own construction company. Edwin Snow his own construction company. Musability, this one, that one, but everybody want to own, so that they can go there and know they will eat the money that never get built. So that's what we are. What we're saying, this is a good idea, but the group of guys that are over there, those guys have no intention to do anything at all. And the reason it's continuing like that, because no one is held responsible. No one. Look, I went to Liberia, the closest place to Monrovia in terms of good road connectivity is Buchanan. That place is a very decent area setup. Don't say them were over there on Ellen as mayor. That place is dirty. That place is run down. The roads are all broken up. That area can be tapped, but the people have no desire. And nobody asks what happened to all of the county money that came here. Nobody asks that. Nobody get held responsible. You never hear them say, this mayor right here, they did this, we audited this, what it is, they're in jail with all the people in the White Houses they built, we're taking it. Nobody, because the guys in Monrovia, if they do that, then they too, they could come for them. And then so everybody just, this is what we find ourselves. So something drastic have to happen in that country, to where maybe you clear all the guys out of there completely. Other than that, we're really not going anywhere.
Thank you, Mr. Tao. Mr. Nangwe, the county meet has ended, and the president's county won. Tomorrow is Monday, like Dr. Booty said. What happens on Monday?
Well, I think there's still going to be a little bit of talk lingering, about the kind of meat. But I agree with all of you, Dr. Booty, Mr. Tao, yourself. I think this is a missed opportunity. I really don't know what is going on with our guys in government. Even the lowest of hanging fruits, we still can't seem to find, a way to work to our benefit. So this county meet, it could do two things. One, sports, everyone agree, it's a rallying event. This is the one time when nobody worries about politics. Everybody is united. Sport does that for you. This is an opportunity to have done that. I don't know to what extent. I'm already seeing, postings on Facebook. There are now debates about crowds. This kind of meet crowd versus just we are kind of meet crowd. And I don't understand that. So that's one. Two, it is also a missed opportunity for, to it's kind of boost the economies of the various counties. And just like you said, regionalize it. We have said that over here, besides just the sports, there are a lot of reasons why we think regionalizing the country will work. It will cut down the payroll, and I think it will be easier for, all to benefit. Imagine the the government has, the Ministry of Education has a silo in Maryland County. The same thing duplicated in River G. In the 15 counties, each of them has a health, the same strata. They have the same thing for defense. All the ministries of government, they have their silos in representing each of these counties. This is why the government of Liberia is hiring 70,000 people and spending over pretty close to $400 million just on salaries. Not to even mention, the generator fuel, the scratch guy and all of that other stuff. You understand? But if you regionalize it, just like you said, Mike, you go to Ghana, they talk about Western Union, whatever, Volta region or Northern region. I think that's the trick there, You can cluster the various in the counties in the south, for instance. They're so small. I'm from Maryland. Maryland, River G, Sign, all these little counties, Grangita, you can cluster all of them together and make them the Eastern region. If you want, you can have the Midwestern region, the Western region, Northern region. But if you do that, there's a whole lot of benefit to be derived from this. And I agree with you all. The county meets should not just happen in Monrovia. Look, one of the smaller counties, I'm not going to say the name now because I didn't get permission. But one of the smaller counties were preparing to host this meet. $800,000 was the budget. That's not so much money for a smaller county. If you put $800,000 into Margibby or Maryland or River G, that's a lot of money. The guest houses, all the things that will remain there. And I agree with you. I think we proposed it before. They don't have to do it every year. You didn't do it maybe twice every year to give these counties time to prepare. And it will be difficult the first go around. By the time they do it 2-3 times, these counties will have been prepared and ready. It may not require that much preparation to get them ready. But yes, they need to get this government out of Monrovia and take it outside of Monrovia. And this sports could really help them do that. You talk about, Maryland are not going to the south. There's a reason why we don't. The roads are horrible. Every time I go to Monrovia, I go to Liberia, my wife, my son, Al, he's watching now. Shout out to him. We almost go to Ganta almost every time we go Sonic with it because you can just get in the car and drive. But to go to Maryland is an ordeal. We're going for 21 days, sometimes, 18 days. You're spending 3-4 days just going and then 3-4 days coming back. How much time will you have to do that? But yeah, if we have a reason to go there, like you said, the president just get them and drive there, instead of taking helicopter to travel from Monrovia to Lofa, like President Weah did, travel from Monrovia to Grangita and those places in helicopter. You deprive yourself of the opportunity of actually seeing what the real life is outside of the bubble. And I think we should really encourage our guys to do that. And they could have started with a county meet. There are several opportunities. But yes, I think this is a missed opportunity for this government, the government before it, and the government before this government. But our people need to listen. There are a lot of ways, to rejuvenate the economy. It requires, some of them don't require a lot of thinking and a lot of planning, But I don't understand why they just refuse to do so. But shout out to Lofa, they won. We don't know how, but in fact, we're shaking his head. We read all kinds of accounts of people appealing to the organizers to get the president as president, make him happy. If it'll make the president happy, that's okay. I mean, I was rooting for Maryland. I know we got knocked out by, I think, Grangita, and they got knocked out today by Lofa, But a couple of shout outs also. We lost on December 30th. I lost my aunt in Monrovia. She's like she was the matriarch of our clan, at 77 young. She was sent home yesterday. So I just want to send a shout out to all of my cousins, my nieces. I couldn't be there, but my brother, younger brother Tia, together with the others, Rita, Hazel, Rosalie, and the rest of them, Blion, Balu. I want to thank all of them for holding the fort and giving her such a befitting send out. So shout out to all of the family members back home. And of course, my son Al, who's watching. Right now, he's communicating with me, telling me to sit up straight and do all kinds of stuff.
There you go. Let you know, son. So yes, befitting tribute to the matriarch. I think even if we don't embrace it, we are gradually, stepping into those positions.
Absolutely.
As we are sending home those who have come before us.
Yeah.
It is true, man. It is true. So congratulations to Lofa for winning the football. I believe the basketball. And it was gonna be a trifecta. Yeah, they won the basketball too. I'll tell you, yeah, they won basketball too. Anyway, it was gonna be a trifecta, but the basketball came and spotted last.
Oh man, we said they giving the president a gift. They said the bill point. They said what happened to the gift.
Can I say something real quick?
You can't spoil Liverpool. Congratulations, my man.
Can I say something real quick? One good thing that
Ism is a towel from Lofa.
No, towel from your part of the country.
No, we don't want that. We don't want that.
But Mr.
from
Nangwe,
Nima.
you said something that you need to take back. But when you're talking about small counties in Liberia, don't be putting Sando name on it. I'm begging
Yeah,
you.
but look at what happened here. You know what made me? You know what's good about this county meet?
What? What's good?
That young people who actually deserve those MVPs are able to get a judge where it's not in power for him to do charity stuff, go over there to be collecting stuff from these kids.
Well,
that
that's
was
true.
embarrassing last time.
Yes, that basketball thing was extremely embarrassing.
Even football.
The former president was there?
Huh?
The former
No.
president was there?
Remember last county meet when he was in power? He
I don't know whether it was last year or year before last.
Okay.
He started competing. He was over there.
And now to cut Joe and Mike off, right? Not to cut you off. I think those of us over here, we need to also get involved. You know, there's a lot we could do for the children. In Maryland chat room, we eventually, when they made a quarterfinal, you know, we started a little rally. I think $1,600 or something like that we raised. And kudos to NAMCAL, you know, of Madame Biru and Abram Cooper. But I think that's something we can also do. Let's help the children and maybe fatten the pot, the grand prize, and whatever it is, you know, because it takes a lot of training and practice for them to get to this stage. So that's something we could also be a part of here from the diaspora. Let's get engaged. Let's help the counties, you know, help the children, especially those who are from, who are in
a lot of, and just so you know, I follow, like, for example, I follow the Bomi County diaspora group. They put money together too for their county. Yeah. A lot of diaspora county organizations did that for the individual counties. And I think that's good. So we'll look forward to see who's the MVP. We'll look forward to see, because one of the origins of the county meet was to explore talent as well.
That's right.
We'll look to see who comes out of these county meets, who are the young talents, and see how they progress.
And to also on the kickball tee to see the biggest tumor. Don't forget that.
You see the baby. Your son is watching. Let's stop this thing.
My wife is in the kitchen. She said, I'm gonna get off that lane. So Dr. Budi, don't cover your face. It's also to see the biggest tumor in the country.
Right. Next
topic. I want to look back.
That is so unfair. But anyway, all right. We're gonna move to our second topic before we get canceled. So
don't worry, Mike Zuckerberg know what tumor means. So
we're gonna brush over the House of Representatives. The saga continues. What has come up quite recently over the end of last week was there's a tape circulating on social media of what is claimed to be the voices of Representative Abu Kamara, I believe of District. I believe he's what is it? District 15. And also Speaker Fonati Kofa, and I'm sure all of you have heard that recording, and I wanted you guys' take on this because it seems like so this apparently is some sort of leak into the public. Who is leaking information? Why is information being leaked? How does that affect the trial that's going on, or the purported investigation, not trial, investigation that's going on, and what this will mean, you know, for justice when it comes to who burned down or who burned, you know, a portion of the Capitol building. Mr. Tao, I'll save you for last. I will start with Mr. Nangwe today, and then I'll go to Dr. Budi.
Well, thank you, Mike. Yeah, I have, you know, and thanks to social media these days, you know, the 24-hour news window keeps churning. So, you know, we all get these things as soon as they happen. I listen to the recording. You know, I just had so many questions. You know, first of all, you know, where is this recording coming from? Who is leaking this recording? because there are privacy concerns. On whose phone, I don't know. Was this played in court? I don't think so. What is the purpose of all this? Is this because some of the captions, almost all the captions that I saw seem to portray the leak as proof that Kofi and the and his team, the rule of law caucus people were involved in some kind of planning, so first of all, what is the purpose of this leak? The government has rested their case. This is not going to add any value, or are they trying to mount more pressure on Kofi through the public opinion? I don't know. But if you listen to the recording, there really is nothing there. There really isn't. There is nothing factual in the recording that says anything about a fire. There's absolutely nothing. I don't know how they will make that link if they intend to do so. There's nothing in there that links, the recording, the discussion, to the fire incident at the Capitol building. So I don't understand the purpose of all this. And hopefully they'll be able to tell us. But like I said, the process of discovery, I believe is over in the courtroom. So what is this release really going to do for anybody? I don't understand it, other than just trying to rally public opinion against Kofi, and continuing to mount more pressure, but they have to be careful. I think they are now treading in a territory that could very much backfire on them. I mean, all of these little gimmicks, I don't think they're helping the situation. But I listened to the recording, and to be honest with you, it doesn't do anything for me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, Dr. Booty. So, like Vic said, we might be tinkering on a mistrial here, because there are a couple of things here. Things that are not admitted in court are now being leaked to the public to create some sort of public sentiment. And what we've seen with this government is the modus operandi is will bring pressure, force you to resign, and then you go away quietly. We've seen this with a number of government officials, especially those in tenure positions, and we'll talk about that. But this, two-way recording, because that's what this is. You are hearing both voices from both sides. So it's a two-way recording that is being done, and it's leaked to the public. What's your take here? What are these people trying to achieve at this point?
Well, unlike Mr. Nangbe, I've not listened to the recording, but I did read what was published in the Front Page Africa about it, and also about the evidence presented in court about Eldridge. Apparently, there was a recording on his phone that apparently implicated him, but then when it was played in court, said nothing about fire or setting up anything or anything like that. And the questions, like Mr. Nangbe, that came to mind initially was, wait a minute. What kind of stupid criminal will be committing a crime and then records himself and keep the recording on his phone? I've never seen a criminal do that before. And if Mr. Eldridge did not record himself and the NSA is recording people, do they have the legal basis for recording people? Because that for me is the biggest concern here. Because I don't believe that Mr. Eldridge, if it is true that he was involved in any way, I don't think he is, but if they're saying that he was involved, then he wouldn't record himself committing a crime. Nobody is that stupid. I've seen some stupid criminals before, but they're not stupid enough to record themselves committing a crime, right? So somebody is recording them. And it seems that person or that organization might be the NSA. So if the NSA is recording people, one, do they have the legal basis? And two, that would mean that they had a preemptive opportunity to prevent the fire. Because to record someone would mean that you have suspicion that they're about to commit a crime. So you will put some plainclothes officer around there to be watching them. So when the men carry the kerosene in the Capitol building to go let it in, they can say, "Aha, we catch you." So why did they sit back? Because then they are culpable. If they knew that he was going to commit the crime, they've been listening to him planning to commit this crime and did nothing about it. They're culpable in the burning down of the Capitol. Those are the questions that came to mind. Now, if we switch it over to Speaker Kofa and the conversation again, why would the speaker record a conversation in which he's saying things that are nefarious? And how would that conversation then end up in the hand of the executive branch? And if it had implicating value, why would it not present it in court? Right? If it was going to implicate it, this is the young American call it the aha moment. The aha moment. Why would you not present your aha moment? Because unfortunately, in a court of law, the judge or the jury, whomever is making a decision, can only rely on the evidence presented in court. They can't rely on what's presented outside. Only the evidence presented in court and the law. So they take the law and apply it to the evidence as it's presented. So whatever conference call, whatever. But my biggest because look, Mr. Pablo, some of us get be more too, and some of us can fast in the library too much. So how we know we go there, we'll be making some call into certain people. They will be they start recording my call. They say what they are they say, oh, but if the end of you are calling the person like, oh, that means so that is my concern. Where are they getting the recording? Do they have the legal basis to do that? And why did they not prevent the fire from going on? Look, this is where I conclude my point. I believe, right, that and I think it was you, Mr. Partner, that said this many weeks ago, and I agree with you totally. The president of the Republic of Liberia prejudiced this investigation when he went out on the 18th, moments after the fire, and made it clear that the only conclusion that we can accept is that hooligans set the building on fire. It can be the fact that before the fire, there was an electrical fault that almost caused fire. After the fire, there was an electrical fault that almost caused fire. So that particular one in the middle cannot be electrical fault. The president already prejudiced it. So unfortunately, his cronies at the NSA, his cronies at the Liberia National Police, his cronies at Fire Service, and his cronies at the Ministry of Justice are trying to find a way to put round objects into square holes. And not fitting. I don't care how you do it, it can't fit because the evidence is you're basically going to find evidence to support the conclusion that the president already came to on the 18th of December, and you can't find the evidence. And at the end of the day, they're hoping that the Liberian people are that stupid that they'll just overlook it and go by their business. And that's not going to happen because some of us, for example, will not sit by and let it happen, but we'll say something. Whatever happens, happens, but we will say something about it because at the end of the day, that is the issue that we need to focus on. The president made it clear to his police IG, somebody must be held accountable. It can't be a mistake.
Thank you very much, Dr. Budi. And I apologize for not playing, for making the assumption that everybody had listened to it. Is it okay, Mr. Tower, before you come in, is it okay if I play that recording?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. So let me go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. That's the president's house. What's up? Who president? Which one? The current president. What you going to do to them people? Because we have before. Who that? Who's out there? Yeah, Ellie. That's different plan. We're looking for you for us to conclude. Which one? That one on the phone. I know that what's up is saying, but tomorrow I will call you. Tomorrow one, do something happen to that plan. And the people, I got my actors with me. I'm rolling around, so I told you around. Me and Debbie and some other people. I have to represent it. I told you that, man, I'm president. You probably like to call him president too much. Yeah. You're tired of the game. I'm waiting for the equal. Yeah. So guys, they fight it 4 games on today.
Okay, so that is most of the 3 minutes. That's the part with the speaker Kofa. That was the two-way call. Right there. So I mean, I
will come in. Like, can I just say one small thing?
Sure.
How is it possible that anyone would think that Fonati Kofa would be stupid enough to be sat at the president's house and say something
making plans to burn the capital at the president's house?
Exactly. When people are running.
Yeah. He didn't say, I just left the president's house.
He said, I'm at. But he will be making like, and you know, in America, I like American justice. Like, one of the things that judges always say to lawyers when they walk into the court is, don't leave your common sense outside. Because a big part of making judgment is about common sense. If something don't make sense to you, it may not correct.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Tao.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. So it's and for me, what jumped out at me was that Fonati were at the president's house. I'm just to this point. Fonati were at the president's house. What Fonati doing to the president's house? Why is the president summoning Fonati? What are they talking? What happened? What discussion was had that night? I really want to know. You know, I continue hearing this whisper that the president continues to try to convince Fonati to resign. Mm-hmm. Is this another conversation that was happening? If so, how do you then say he's no longer speaker, but you still trying to convince him to resign? You know, and all this other thing. If he was so corrupt and he had done so many wrong things, you know, and needed to be removed, why are you still inviting him to your? It's just.
Then why didn't you do it in the right way? Present the evidence and let his colleagues, his peers, vote him out. Simple.
Mr. Tao, yeah, you heard the recording.
So let me ask: which president are they talking about? Boyka or Wea?
Joseph Boyka.
Okay.
Joseph Iman Boyka. He was at Joseph Iman Boyka house. According
so he
to
was at Joseph Iman Boyka house.
Yes.
But look, let me clarify a couple of things first. Dr. Booty, I know that you have your reservation. You guys express them, but look at what happened here. You see those guys in politics, just about all over the world. A whole bunch of them, some of the lowest people in terms of thought process, in terms of like their so yeah, they can be that stupid. Most of them can be that stupid. Are people that will sit there and risk the stability of the entire nation to loot it. Yes, they can be that stupid. So let's just clarify that. And the next one here is that all governments all over the world record their people. That's the reality. And somebody wants to say something else is not true. Even when we sit here, they say your WhatsApp is encrypted, that anything you say, how come very quickly the moment the U.S. government indict somebody or charge him with something, or a WhatsApp message is available, and they can summon any communication agency in your country when they link it to national security or whatever. They have everything available. So let us just put that in. So they can subpoena Bloom Star, whatever, for them to submit any kind of phone call that went on. If there was any record, they submit those. So it's not supposed to be that way from what they have on paper, from what it is, but the reality is it happened. It happened here with a lot.
No, the court filing said the recording was in the man phone. He said it's someone Lone Star. They say what?
No, I'm just saying they can. All the phones that you have.
No, they said when they open your phone, the technician opened your phone and they saw the recording there. That's why I'm like,
whose phone?
Who will record it? Saying their phone?
No,
I think these people are reporting that their phones are still with them when they
unless they seize the phone.
Exactly.
Yes,
Which they
it's
never did.
possible.
When did they gain access to these phones?
Yeah, look at what happened here. Those things are possible. Those are the voices. People recognize them. That's their voices. Yes, people. What he was trying to make sure he bought himself an insurance policy between him and Kofa. Who knows? So there was a lot. For me, look at how I see this here. I don't know what really is happening with all of the details, but I know anything is possible. You see these guys? I'm not going to really try to defend somebody. I don't know any of these people. What I know of them is that they loot the country. When they come together, it's the same thing we're talking about. The whole tribal story that we are divided. It's the same thing. Kofa, Wea, Bwaka, these guys, they all go there for them to loot the country. Then the moment they have a difference, then they want to now create some block, like they want to regionalize stuff, like we're talking about the county meat. Something that is supposed to regionalize to benefit us, they don't do it. So before you know it, yes, it's true. You said look, law should work. But in trying to defend that law, you end up defending the criminal. For me, that is actually my problem. So I would say let them chew each other, or maybe that will weaken them, and then they can.
Yeah, you know.
Well, we can't do that.
It leaves you wondering too whether they ever use this recording code. If maybe they attempted to, and the court told them no, that was not allowed, and so now they're putting it out into the public space. You understand me? To kind of sway public opinion against this case.
That's exactly what's happening right now.
And like you pointed out, Dr. Budi, I think it was you or Joe or Mike, they're trying to engineer a solution for a declaration that the president made on the very second day of the incident. That's why it's giving us so much hard time. They're looking for a solution for a problem that has a different solution, and the solution they're finding doesn't fit the desired outcome, and that's going to be their problem.
That's all that is possible. But for me, when it comes to these guys, I really can't defend any of them, and I don't say they should charge anybody falsely, but I can't defend any of them. Because yes, we want the law to work, but in trying to defend the law, I end up defending the criminal, and I'm not here for them to defend any of them.
I feel your pain. I feel your pain, Mr. Tao. Unfortunately, that is the reality of the situation. You know, and I learned that nowhere else better than the U.S. You know, I follow a lot of legal groups. You know, and I had to learn that, you know, and accept that purpose is that, you know, if you're going to defend the law, sometimes you're going to end up defending people you don't want to defend. But you have to understand that for that one person that, you know, you don't want to defend, you're probably going to save 10, 15 other innocent people that would have fall, you know, subjugated to that same act. So when I see people who are guilty and they are pushing the law and say, "Oh no, you can't. You didn't read that man's Miranda rights, so therefore we got to toss this one out. You got to let him go." And all I know, the person guilty, and we fast with it. But the fact is, if you don't hold to that today with that guilty person, when the innocent person come, and the government doesn't read the rights to them, you know, and that person gets caught up in the system, how do you intend to hold it? That's the same thing with Kofa today. You know, when I talk about Kofa, a lot of people think, "Oh, I'm supporting Kofa." I don't support Kofa. From day one, I never supported Kofa even becoming a lawmaker, let alone speaker. For somebody who committed a felony in another country to even come back to Liberia and practice law at the highest court with no repercussions, I believe was a slap in the face to our entire how they call them their name just slipped my their whole bar association. You know, I expected the bar association to stand up to ethics. They said, "No, you can't come back. You can't go to America, commit a crime, go to jail, and now the jail accuse you. You went through the legal system. They arrested you, they prosecute you, they send you to jail, they disbarred you. And then you come back to our country, and then we're just supposed to open arms to you. No, you're going to have to earn your way back." None of that happened. You know, he was allowed to practice unfettered. He was allowed to run for political office unfettered. He was allowed to become speaker unfettered, which I feel all those things demean our systems, you know. But at the same time, he is being removed, you know, illegally. So do you ignore it and say, but I don't like Kofa business, so I'll just ignore it this one time? If we allow them to remove the bad people illegally, guess what's going to happen when the good people get there? They will remove them illegally, and they will use the precedent that was silent on and say, no, if you notice, when they remove Snow, the people refer, they say, we remove Snow, and you didn't say anything. We remove Tyler, you ain't say anything. So why we can't remove a Kofa? People, they refer to those times when the people are silent and say, yo,
you can go as far back as I say, you know, just do it. All these people, you know.
So at some point in time, we have to stand up and speak and say, no, we're not sharing for Kofa.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to stand up for the rule of law at some point. It hurts when we
Kofa has drawn the line. Yeah, the line has to be drawn somewhere.
When we elect that person that we really, really want, and they come after that person, we got to stand up the same way. But anyway, let's move on to the next topic here. They won't really rock my whole medulla oblongata. I swear to God, I don't even know how to even. So the government is broke. The government has no money. Hospitals are struggling. Schools are struggling. When I went to Liberia, I think all you guys know I visited. I went to Liberia for a few days, running after some personal stuff. But I always take time to visit certain places. On my way from Kakata, heading to Cruiserville, we passed through Todi. I have a project in Todi that I've been working on with some people there. And so we passed through Todi. And the school building, as soon as you leave Todi, coming towards the main road. Look, when you stay inside, when the sun shines, the sun can shine in the classroom. I say, people can be talking about Reward G, people can be talking about Grand G there. I'm talking about Monserrato Kante. The school building, these young children, these babies sit into land. When the sun shines, it can shine through. Sun can shine in the classroom. This is how dilapidated the roof is. So you can imagine when it rains. Mud, clay floors. Students take their own benches to school. This is what I'm talking about. The government claims they have no money. Absolutely no money. Their hands are tied. And then we hear that former bank governor Tanu, who was suspended for accusations of illegal behavior, was never really investigated for actions of illegal behavior, was instead giving in America what we call a golden parachute of hundreds, almost $500,000 to walk away from the position and not contest it. This is just one bank governor. I believe there are how many? 6? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. If anybody know, how many governors do we have in the board of governors at the central bank? I think there's 6, including the bank governor himself. And this is just one. How many did other people receive? What is the total? Where the money coming from? Every money the government spends has to be law. You have a budget. You send the budget to the legislature. The legislature reviews the budget. They approve it. The president signs it, and it becomes law. Where are the people getting hundreds of thousands of dollars, United States dollars, to give away to people just so they can leave a position, so they can put their own people in there? This rocked my entire world when it came to how our people are struggling. I went to Liberia. I saw the struggle in the eyes of the people. And the fact that they can wake up every day and go through this struggle while the government wastes money on such things is beyond me. I have no lineage to it. I just want to hear you guys take on it. Mr. Tower, I will start with you.
Okay. So I said it here over and over before that Liberia is not broke. In terms of Liberia could be broke if you look at in terms of maybe on a larger scale, like maybe big countries and to actually compete. But Liberia really is not broke. There's a lot of money in the country. And this is why I'm against when they say, oh, they should raise domestic revenue. And I always ask them how. How is to go after the people and kill their innovation, kill off their ability for them to be able to find ways to make ends meet in that society. So if you went and you open your little shop, they come over there and they stick a paper on it that you have to pay tax. If you go ahead and you build your little house, they will come over there and say they put a value on there. You go pay property tax. No, let the Liberian people resist that. There's a lot of money in that country. And I'm coming to your question. If there is no money in the country, where do they get $45,000 every year to give to these guys for tobacco? Where do they get the 3 and 4 and 5,000 from the give them every month for fuel, for a straw cut, and for other stuff? There's a lot of money in the country. Okay, what they did was, and that is why I said that system needed to either be collapsed completely or overhauled. Okay, if they move 20 million into presidential affairs, that's money. You know the money, they don't just move it in there, they move it in there so that they can use them for them to will influence them for them to do stuff. If they move 30 or 40 million into whatever, into NSA, so they have areas where they move the money. So once they move the money into these places, then they use them for them to do stuff. $25 million scholarship fund. So yeah, so there's a lot of money in the country. But they move them into places so that and if you go look, the government cannot audit itself. The same thing happened a lot on Ellen. We came in, and that is why I say Ellen set out the blueprint of major corruption that all these guys are following. She set these things out, giving brown envelope openly like that become the order of the day at the legislature. She brought this. So they're following the scene. So yeah, there is a lot of money. If you look at why they move into NSA, they say you can't audit them. Why they move into what does presidential affairs need? What does NSA need that they need to take a huge chunk of money and put it in there, but you can't touch it, you can't audit it, you can't do this. So there is a lot of money in that country. So they move money into these places that they can pay people off. But the question here is, if they're actually willing for them to give these guys all this money just so that they can leave a position, what is the actual intention? It means there is something so severe that they're trying to do at that central bank that is unimaginable for them to actually. So that for me, that's really. So you're going to take what, maybe $1 million or 1.5 million by the time you pay all the governors and all these people, just so that you can put your own people there. Why is this so important?
I totally agree. I totally agree.
That must be a reason, and the reason could be even more dangerous than the money that they actually pay.
The money that, yes,
yes,
I totally agree. The money we are complaining about now might just be the chicken change to what they're really trying to do.
Yeah,
once to put their people in place, you know.
Yes.
Dr. Booty, I mentioned this the other day, and somebody on social media had talked about how, you know, politically divided we are, and we can disagree politically, but when it comes to Liberia, you know, we should all be united upon it. And I mentioned this culture that we have. Well, when we have a new government in place, there is this complete extraction of the former government. Everybody gotta go. At that point, nobody talks about Liberianness. Nobody talks about unity. Nobody talks about being Liberian. At that point, it is the only thing that matters is who did you support
Mm-hmm.
and which party you belong to. And then after you have done that, then how can you come back to the people now and ask the people, oh, you know what? We need to be united because Liberia is the only thing we have. What is your take on this? And I did just do a quick research. So there are 5 bank governors
Okay.
on the board of governors. There's 5 of them, and the head of them, the governor proper was the one that received over $300,000 US. And that's what we're talking about now. Whether that was the only thing he received, we're not sure. Did he get to keep other things that he got as being governor? We don't know. Was his did he go all this a year almost without pay, or was he being paid every month? We don't know. The rest of his other benefits, his living, according to the present bank governor, Henry Samoa, his total benefits are $22,000 a month. He gets paid, he gets a stipend, and he gets money for something else again. But when you add it all together, it's $22,000.
60,000 a year for housing allowance.
Yes. So there's a Liberian boy in
But
Liberia.
they come up with a housing allowance
very
as if they
successful.
come from other country. As
The
if they're
former-
expats.
He's the former IB bank president. He not living in my house. He not renting. He not renting, but he gets $30,000 for housing allowance. I don't know. I just don't understand. Look, a bank governor should have certain amenities. Yes, I understand that. He should have a personal driver. He should have. But when you're giving housing allowance, those things are for expats because they're not living in the country. They're not born in the country. You're not expecting to own a home in the country. But we have a professional, a man who has been accomplished for many years. You know very well. He's not renting. He owns his own home. A quite good, decent home. Why are you giving housing allowance? But anyway, like I said, I'm going to try not to. Go ahead, Dr. Booty. Let me hear from you.
Yeah, there are a few things, right? I think first of all, that is an issue that's been burning me over the last few days. I know Mr. Samoa very well. When he was general manager at IB Bank, I was working with the bank as marketing manager, so I know him personally. He's competent, right? And I've never questioned his competency in terms of occupying the role of governor. I thought, and rumors I heard was when President Weah became president, he was one of those that they were looking at to go to the central bank. And I thought that would be a good appointment, because I know this guy. He's really good. But I commented a few times this week, I think on your post and someone else's post, about the fact that he's taking that much money every month. And I said, look, this is why the press, because for me, it's not about putting him in place. It's the illegality of the removal of the governor that they're now paying. Because I read, and I'll just say this quickly. I've got an uncle of mine who is a supporter of this government. We had a heated argument the other time. And the argument was going okay until I started pointing at him and he said, I sleep, I won't go to bed. Because he couldn't defend it anymore, right? Because at the end of the day, this guy was removed. The president has no power. Whether it's for corruption, whether they may kill somebody, whether he stole money, only the legislature can remove the executive governor of the Central Bank of Liberia. That's the CBL Act 2020 says that clearly. The president need not even mention inside only to appoint. The only job he can do, appoint. Removal, there has to be articles of impeachment in the House, goes to the Senate, they have to vote on it. The president can't even say, my man, lay a bid it. That's not his job. And the thing that makes me angry is that the so-called individuals, people like the DeLongs and the rescue mothers and them, that were all around here clamoring when George Weah were in power. Oh, these people are abusing law, doing it. All of them silent. The president is trampling over your duty, the separation of power. right? The separation of power is put in place for the independence of the central bank. The central bank set monetary policies for Liberia. Let me just make it practical for Liberian people listening. If the central bank governor decides to set interest rate slightly higher, the price of your rice will go up automatically, right? So the point that Mr. Tower is making, which I think is very, very important for us to make it very simple for the Liberian people to understand, there is something nefarious going on. That the president is willing to throw away 300 and something thousand of our country's money. Because if you say the man stole money, then why are we giving him 300 and something thousand? We're gonna fire him. I don't know anywhere in me and I've been fired one time before. Didn't give me money when they fired me. Nothing. Because you cause trouble, that why they can fire you. They don't fire you when you've been nice.
You won't have to pay.
Where holiday come from? But brother, they fire nothing. My last check I got at air, I was moving with myself. 2002. I can remember very clearly. Send that time to party again. You know, I want to fire me one more time. But we firing this man because he did bad thing. Then you telling me we paying him 300 something? No, Mr. Tower is correct. There is something, and some of us now need to open our eyes because what we were not looking at. Thank you, Mr. Tower, for mentioning that. We now need to look at what is it that they want to do, that you're willing to throw that money away to install a crony of yours. And let's not forget again, people might say, oh, today I have local candidate, but they may from local candidate too.
Yes.
Right? And there is something wrong here that the president will go to that length. And the people that are supposed to hold him accountable, they're sitting there quiet. They light the Jaco lantern that we can be talking about. You're not shouting right now. Because he's supposed to be calling on the president, and the president, no, you can't do that thing. But no. And look, at the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised if the guys at LTA all of a sudden get their severance as well. Right? Because they ain't coming back. Well, we all know they ain't coming back. So they were just getting their own T2 so they can.
That's already been done for some of them.
Exactly. And this is the point I'm going to finalize on. 851 million was the budget that we passed for this government. 745 million of that is recurring expenditures, salaries, all that nonsense they're doing, right? And I was just sitting down, just thinking, if we say, look, we half that thing, so look, 425 million for central government, that's still enough for the central government. The other 425 million, we're going to divide it by district. And each district will get $5.8 million to invest in their district in whatever they want to do. You cannot tell me that Mr. Nangwe will go Liberia and he can't go Maryland. Because all of the districts in Maryland will utilize that money if it's directly in their hands to build their roads because they need roads. To invest in agriculture because they need to feed themselves. To build the schools that you saw in Todi. I'm sure the district in Todi, if they got 5.8 million, the district coordinator, if he was supervisor, right oversight there, they would invest that money in transforming that district. And the issues that we're having in our country, we will not have. But no, like Mr. Tao said, they keep the money centrally. They spent 745 million of that money on nonsense. You know, I was doing the other day, like I said to Mr. Tao at the start of the show, there is something I'm putting together, like a proposal. I was doing some research the other day. The UK MPs in the UK make £92,000 a year. That's $112,000, right? They can have a house paid for. We can pay rent for a house either in London, where Parliament is, because you know if you come from out of town, we expect you to stay in London. We'll pay for rent there, and you have to take public transport between your district and London once every 3 months. So when we go on recess, we'll pay for a train ticket for you to go up. We're not giving you gas, no train ticket, right? But you have senators in Liberia, based on what Senator Dillon said a few years ago, 2019, they're taking home $180,000 US. More money than an MP in the 7th richest country in the world. And we're the 8th poorest country in the world. Mm-hmm. That is what the people can call the big book and say nonsensical. It makes sense that you will have a country as poor as that paying more money to legislators than one of the richest countries in the world pay to their legislators. Here we don't buy them car every 2 years for 45,000. No. And in fact, they have a commission When you ride that train, you buy your own train ticket and you send a ticket. Do you know how other when we claim expenses at work? You send a ticket. They look at the ticket, order 45 pounds. You pay, okay, yeah, they send you your 45 pound back. Or you stay in hotel, how many you pay? $100. Okay, yeah, they send you your $100 back. You don't get 2,000. Say, oh, gas for generator. No, go buy the gas. When the month end, you bring the receipt for the gas that you bought, and we'll pay you the receipt. There's too much waste in our country. Mr. Tao said the money is there, but we wasted it, and our people are dying.
So, okay, so I'll come to Mr. Nangwe. So, Mr. Nangwe, first let me, like what Dr. Pudi said, so let me just put a disclaimer out there. I know Henry Samar very well. Henry Samar is almost like a friend. My mother refers to him as her son. They both work at IB for many years. That's where my mother worked until she retired. So I know Henry Samar very well. I was very excited when he was tagged to be Bank Governor, because I believe in his competence, I believe in his integrity, and I felt, hey, this is because when Tanu was put at a central bank, I felt it was a weird crony, and and there was a lot of things that happened over the counter transactions, money coming out of central bank, all kind of funny things, and I felt this is great. But the process, I expected there to be an audit. I expected Tanu's time at central bank to show corruption. I expected him to be removed in that manner, and I expected, a Samoa to be placed. Like what Mr. Tao said earlier, and I was speaking to. So now that Samoa is going through his Senate hearing, confirmation hearing, and he gets the position. Now the president sent message, or Grisby sent message. Look, we need money for so and so thing needs to come out tonight. Samoa said no. Samoa said no, because his independence has been eroded. If he says no, they will suspend.
That's right.
This is what we are saying. Is
and that was the whole purpose of that was the whole purpose of the tenure, Mike. I mean, I don't have anything much to offer on this beyond what all of you guys have indicated, But let me just say this way, so that our people who are listening, they'll go and make sense of it. You conducted an audit according to you. So you found that the governor, he fell afoul of your system. You conducted a system audit. So based on that, you say you spent, I think, money, what, 90-something million dollars, whatever it is, out beyond his authority, whatever the charges. That's why you removed him. What are you doing going to court to settle? What are you settling about? So that's one. Then two, when Talu was removed back in August of last year, he sued. He sued demanding $1.3 million. And what did they settle for? $1.125 million. What is the difference? $175,000. When you add the court costs, what are we getting out of this? But at the same time that we're gonna pay this man $375,000 for the rest of the years left on his tenure, we're also paying Mr. Samoa, who is now the governor in sitting. So now what are we doing? It's a twofold. We're paying two people for one job. And you mentioned there are other governors. I think Yumali, whatever her name is, she's in that category. We're doing the same thing for telecom. We're doing the same thing for a lot of other agencies. You understand me? And this is the source of our disappointment with this government. There are a lot of us who really felt this president will be the disruptor. He will come and turn things upside down in a good way. Dispense with all of these practices that got our country where it is. But that's not what we're seeing. You know, that's not what we're seeing. They're perpetuating the same old practice, and sometimes in some instances even doing worse than previous government did. You know, but yeah, like I said, I don't have much to offer. You guys have said it all, but you said this man was guilty of an audit, and then you go and negotiate, you know, behind it. And then you put a gag order for $100,000 fine. Anybody who talk about the thing, you know, well, we're talking about it now, so you know, a lot of people pay $100,000.
We gotta pay $100,000 each.
It better be Liberian dollars.
It better be Liberian dollars.
Yeah, the code is not.
But coming back to Dr. Booty, right? We got these guys in the legislature.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they are not the number one problem for the Liberian people, you know, they don't pass virtually any laws. You know, they do nothing, and they just drain the economy and drain the economy and drain the economy. It made a very good comparison. One of the richest countries in the world is paying its people far less than we are the seventh poorest country in the world are paying our people. You know, we get a housing, then we get a transportation, then we get a gasoline, then we get a generator, then we get a pocket change because they got legislative duty or whatever it is. It was 30,000, now it got 150,000 under this government. And then not only that, they put in a request for $3 million for the community year, whatever they said, no, it's too small. They get a $13 million. You understand me? They asked for 3.4 or 3.6 million. They get them 13 million. I don't got for. You know, so you know, and this is just the first year, you know. And so when we come here and we're talking, you know, I know why Mr. Wallow, maybe you're going to church today, God help him, you know. They keep on saying here, you know, oh, you're nitpicking and all of that. But what is the celebration to celebrate in this under this government? Anyway.
Yeah, but there is a point I want to throw out, and some people might call it racist, but I think it's interesting that we now have two individuals heading the two main financial institutions in the country, both from the same county as the president.
Finance and National Central Bank.
Central
Right?
Bank.
Yes. Yeah. That's very concerning. You're right.
Can I make a quick point?
Go ahead.
Wasn't this the same honor, Ellen? Her son.
And then you have Boyman Camara.
Huh?
You have Boyman Camara and there's some other agency.
Yeah, but her son and pretty much like nephew, they were at Central Bank.
But he was deputy governor, though. He wasn't the governor proper.
Yeah. If
I forgot the name of the governor now. Jones. Was it Jones? Jones was there for a bit.
Will Jones, then Weeks.
Yep. But then Weeks.
Then Weeks.
Look
at what happened here.
I didn't before that. I didn't was Patriot before that, right?
No, that was Patriot was unaware.
Oh,
but look,
okay.
let me tell you, if my mom is the president and they make you the head of the central bank and I become deputy, you know who wield the power.
Yeah.
Especially in a corrupt.
And another one was at NoCal.
So, but look at the point I want to make here, guys. I think you guys are agreeing with me more and more as we see this. And maybe I came across at first.
No, I'm not agreeing with you. I'm not agreeing with you.
Listen now. The legislature does nothing. They make all this money. They set their own salary. They set their own benefit. They do all of this stuff. If you have something in your life that you're running your life and you have budget items, if there is one thing that is draining all your finances, the way you can't do your major stuff, pay your mortgage, your car note, your cash college fees, do you leave it in there? You look at it and see how you can audit that or edit that, and if it can be done, you remove it. Guys, the legislature must be dissolved. These guys pass no laws. What do they really do?
There has to be a way to represent the people.
Yeah, there have to be a way to represent the people.
There has to be. Right now, the way we have is not working.
Listen. The people are not being represented.
I agree.
Okay, so since they're not being represented, why can't we do that? Look at the two major stuff that are done in the government in Liberia, in many other so-called democratic government around the world. There are two major things. Look, they don't pass law every day. There is no law. You know why the guys are there? Concession and budget. Those are the two major stuffs. Those two things can be put up for referendum. The budget, what you paying those guys every year, a fraction of a couple of $1 million can put a referendum for the budget. You know what that does? Now, put in there, say 20 million for NSA and let the people see if the people pass it. Put in there 40 million for presidential affairs and put in there 80,000 for Bomi County and see if your 40 million will pass.
And that I understand that what makes that what make people at the Ways and Means chairman so powerful. You're right, because they negotiate all the other little things inside the budget.
Yep. So put that up for referendum. If there is concession, guess what? It take out the brown envelope. It take out foreign companies trying to bribe. It take out the president or whoever sitting in there trying to bribe. Guess what? If the concession is going to be held in Bomi for you to want to sell Wologisi, put it up for referendum and see if the people in that area will vote and say, yes, we want this. So we have to look at this stuff differently, guys. This thing, we have it, but it is not working. We can't force it. Let us try to look at it. You see these guys? Look, if you find a way for, even if you can just keep the Senate, you remove the representative, or you keep the representative, you move this, whichever.
And to be honest with you, Mr. Tao, I think the Liberian people are really agreeing with you, because if you look at the return rate of these guys, it's probably less than 5%. They put on them money.
Take this money, and once you do that, the money that was in that budget for them, it don't go anywhere else. It's locked in for development fund. And just like my brother Dr. Booty said, then you not take that, you break them, allocate it to the districts or to the counties. And then through that, you set up your public works and all of this stuff, localize it. Because, look, that's the only way. Let me tell you something. You know how many people that I have sponsored in schools, in very polytechnic and everything, nursing and medical school and law, all over Liberia? These young men and women graduate, they can't get a job because there is nothing there. So it's almost making it so I actually started putting brake on that, because you spend in one other time we spent over $150,000 trying to, and these people graduated, they're sitting all over the place. Nurses, they need nurses. These kids were bright, but there was no jobs.
Okay, so let's go into our final.
Going to college is almost like we said they should go to school to do what?
So we're gonna go into our final,
and that's why everybody want to be legislator now, because
we're going to our final topic. I think the beauty, you can denounce the form of government much as you want. The beauty of the form of government is that it is open to change. All the things you're talking can be enacted into our government. And that is the beauty. That is the difference between us and Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso, no change comes like that unless Traoré says so. But the government that we have right now, if we put pressure and the people speak, those things can happen. Like for example,
and that is why this whole tenure thing is important. I think the 6 years is too much for the presidency, and I think the 6 and 9 years are too many years there for the representative and the senator. They need to cut them down to 4 years or less.
Yes.
So when the bombs come in and they do nothing, they throw them out within the first 4 years or so. You know.
So speaking about throwing out, Representative Yeke Kolba was through.
They live there, Yeke, like a piece of tissue. It's not funny, but funny.
Yeke Kolba was thrown out of session twice in 1 week. This is just my bugger. But anyway, honorable representative, honorable Yeke Kolba, I believe he's represent District 8, was thrown out of session, physically manhandled and thrown out of session twice in the last, I believe, the last week or in the last 2 weeks. I saw one of those videos. I didn't see the second one. I didn't want to watch the second one. But now we have representatives being thrown out, physically manhandled and thrown out of session. According to a lot of people, it's because he refused to recognize Speaker Kuhn as the legitimate speaker and to address him in that manner. And so here we have it. Let me hear from you guys. We're kind of rounding up, so we're gonna make this quick. So I'll give everybody like a minute, just to speak concerning this, and then we'll go into our closing.
You know, Mike, this is Yekes, like you use the word MO, modus operandi. Sometimes it's offensive, but it's a free country, freedom of speech. He did the same thing during George Weah time. And that's what the sergeant at arms is there for, right? To put your hands on another person, that's assault. You can't put your hands on Yeke to throw him out. And the guys really need to do better than that. During Weah time, he did that, and you will find you'll be escorted out, and sometimes his colleagues will go around and they'll take him out. But what they've done over the past couple of days is wrong. The man has a right to express himself in the legislature. And you have rules. You can sanction him. There's several ways you can deal with that situation. But to put your hands on him and physically throw him out, I think it's wrong. You can't do that. I think that's assault. And they need to stop that. You can't do that anywhere else. Put your hand on a grown man bodily and throw him out. That's not your job. You're not the security.
I couldn't agree. I couldn't disagree with you at all on any of those instances. And what does that? What happens if he retaliates? What happens if his colleagues retaliate? What happens? We've had this thing in Liberia. I think it really went to court when it happened to Brownie Samaka, where it says that you're under no obligation to follow a command that that is illegal. So the sergeant has no excuse. Dr. Budi,
listen, I think we all know what Yeka is. It's a firebrand. A lot of the things that one of the things I give him credit for, not his method, but sometimes we as Liberians say Liberian people that the kind of thing that we let easy, we let people fire that only time we can listen. But he has demonstrated, in my opinion, and people disagree with me, a level of integrity, because he's always criticized when he felt that people were doing things that were not right. He criticized Weah. He's now criticizing Bwaka, even though he supported, I believe, getting Bwaka elected. And that is where my disappointment comes in with people like Dillon and like the Pro-Tem and people like that, because these are the same individuals who were critical of George Weah, and rightly so. When George Weah wasn't performing, they were critical of him, and rightly so. And now, because they're enjoying the fruit of our labor in this government, they're quiet, they're silent, they're sitting by and watching things go on that even Weah didn't attempt to do. That they criticized Weah, but he didn't even attempt to do these kind of illegal maneuvers, right? And I think what we're seeing is what I expected in Liberia, and not just in Liberia, I think across the world. People take their way of acting from the top. If the head is illegally doing things, then the people at the bottom are going to do it. The legislature is sitting there and looking at the president and how he's doing things and thinking, okay, well, we can do the same thing and nobody will do anything to us. And the judiciary is thinking the same thing like us. Because the judiciary, I was writing yesterday, the notes I was taking, I was thinking, the judiciary, like, we're forced to agree with these people because I didn't manage to pass the law. I didn't make a sign it, go get our money. So to anything that they will slash our budget, that be easy. So the judiciary cannot independently and with integrity adjudicate matters that come before them. Because listen, when Speaker Kofa brought the case before them and they came out with that ultra-virus nonsense, they could have been more forceful in their look. Speaker Fonati Kofa, according to the Constitution, is the only legitimate Speaker of the House of Representatives. Anyone else is illegal. That's simple English. Ultra-virus, Liberian people can't even understand the English I just spoke, Jenna. Then you go bring ultra virus and then to understand. And basically the intent was tactic, avoid, deflect. Don't say anything because I want budget coming from them. So no, it's wrong. This should not be done, but I'm not surprised because this is what is going to continue to happen in this government. Because this is very, militant. They used to accuse we have people there of being militant and violent and all that kind of thing. But this is a very violent, militant government that we're seeing. But the only difference is, and a friend of mine was saying in Liverpool the other day, and I shut him down quite quickly. They probably can wear kosu. Because at least we are going to put into wear barret. They probably can wear kosu in their own violence. And people think that, they ain't being violent because like Mr. Tao, they wear kosu today. That, but they're more violent than George we are.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And unfortunately, every section of the government, besides the Supreme Court, is given opportunity to sit before the legislature and defend their budget. The Supreme Court does not do that. They don't have that leverage, so they get what they get. Unfortunately, Mr. Tao, the lawmaker is being thrown out of session.
I'm not a fan of Yeke. And the reason is because in a serious country, guys like Yeke won't even be in that place. Anybody can make all kinds of noise, but tell me what have Yeke really not of them contributing anything, but we're just talking about just that, nothing. So all these guys do, they go over, they make noise. He wears some white t-shirt, he sit on his porch, he had all kinds of picking that around him that he buy Gary for, and he talk. Just even the way he alter things, you can't go around your whole life. You're supposed to, you say you're honorable. You can't even do things in a orderly manner. He curse back and forth, all kinds of stuff. What is the example that the youth are supposed to see for them to follow? So for me, that's it. Yes, look, being thrown out. This is Yeke that talks so much truth, but he was riding keke because he needed 45,000 so that he could buy his car. So me, yes, I see that. Mr. Padma, understand that they got to read this man right, but in defending some law, you defend the criminal. Let me give you the analogy before I close on this. Before I rest. There is the mountain top, and the source of water is coming from there. And the people of Liberia are at the bottom waiting in the dying of thirst. And the legislature is one of those people blocking that water from. Remove them and water will flow and the people will be the thirst, they will quench their thirst. Remove those people. You can sit here, we can say, dissolve that stuff, remove those people. They've done in other countries. Free up the country. Look, you see the judiciary and the executive, you can deal with them a little bit more easier. Yes, it will be struggle, but you see that legislature, those guys strangulate that country. Remove them. You dissolve the two houses in Liberia. So what we need to be thinking as Liberians all over the world, what other ways we can put in place for also create representation of the people where laws and stuff are not passing secret. How many laws do they pass? A couple of laws a year, put it up for referendum. Like when they want to do dual citizenship, they put it for referendum. Let it be one vote. Let the people vote on it. If they say yes, that's yes, the president sign it. If they say no, that's no, and then that's it. But we dissolve that group and you solve the problem.
I wish it was that simple. All right. So thank you guys. I think we've exhausted our topics for today. I'm going to give everybody 2 minutes to go ahead and give their closing. Mr. Tao, is it okay if you go first?
Yeah, no, let that the bully come from across the ocean.
You go first. No, they say you go first.
So look, guys, when it comes to everything that we are saying, that we discuss every day on here and including today, it all come down to, I will say it again, the structure of government that we have. Yes, the people are corrupt, but if you take those same people, a whole lot of the people in that system come from the US here. Why don't they do that at their jobs here? Other than them being held responsible, the system is clear. A lot of the things are clear to where there is a lot of separation of power or authority. If you look, we need to look at our constitution. There was a discussion, one of the shows, and I said it. The constitution that we have, they say some new, no, it's not a new constitution. It's the same 1847 constitution. If the whole constitution is the same and you go in there, the foundation on which it rests is the same from 1847 Simon Greenleaf, according to what he told from Harvard. All that they did was they just went in and changed some stuff, 6 years and 9 years, and you got to stay here for 10 years, and that's it. We have to look at that whole thing in totality. We have to look and say, how did we govern ourselves as African people? And we're able to build powerful empires and kingdoms and run universities and everything else before the Europeans or the Arabs or the people came. Most of the work have been done. Most of the books, the literatures are available. I've studied a bunch of them. Other African countries gravitating towards that way. Then if we say, okay, then let us go and amend this. The representative senators cannot set their own pay, their own salary, their own order, this stuff. Look, the term limit is not the problem. If you have a very good governor or president, representative senator that working for you, in fact, you want for them to even stay there for 20 years. The problem we are having is because the guys are actual clowns. That is why even 1 week, you even make it 4 years. In 6 months, you'll be crying. So it is the guys. It is not so much the length of time. Xi being in power in China. Angela Merkel was in power in Germany for all those years. Margaret Thatcher in power in England for all those years. Who else? Netanyahu being in power since I was born. I've been hearing that name in Israel. So if he's working for the people, then it really don't matter the length of time. But it's when they're really bad, even 1 week you'll be crying. So I rest right there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Latau. And one thing I will always give you credit for is your consistency. Dr. Booty, let's hear you, sir.
Yeah, I think he has been consistent in telling us the system is broken, but he has also been consistent in not telling us what to the solution. What is the remedy? What is the alternative?
And I think
you didn't. You said we need to go back. You didn't say, you said go back and look. Well,
yeah,
you didn't get the ability.
Remove
go back and look.
The ability for them to be able to set budget for themselves.
Let me make my closing, Mr. Tao. I believe, and I'm starting to agree with you in the sense that the system needs to be tweaked a little bit. I don't think we need to get rid of it. I think it needs to be tweaked. I'm trying to develop something, unlike you, who just say that we change the system, and not bring anything serious up. I'm trying to develop something that I think can be proposed to try and make government job not as attractive as it is. I think the government jobs, including legislative roles, are very attractive financially. And so it attracts the wrong people, right? I think it attracts people who go there for money. I think if we reduce the pay and people see this, there's a book I've just finished reading, an old book by a guy called Carter Woodson called The Miseducation of the Negroes. It talks about the fact that we try to imitate other cultures as Black people. And we are told how we should govern ourselves, and that is to our own detriment. And that's where I'm starting to shift towards Mr. Tao a little bit. We need to make government job a job of service, where you're not coming in to get rich, you're coming in to serve. And the way to do that is to take the money out of it. If we can find, and that's what I'm trying to develop. If we can come up with a proposal that takes money out of government job, make it less financially attractive. The people that will go in will be people who know, I got my business running. I'm only coming in here because I want to serve my people. Because the $2,000 they give me every month is not enough. The $4,000 they give me every month is not enough. My business pays me $10,000, $15,000 already. You can show Boko they don't disrupt your.
No. I'm giving you. I said read this book. It's going to help you on some of the stuff that do. That's what I'm telling you.
Oh no, send me. You should send it to me. Yeah, send it to me, please. Yeah, because
Black Power.
Yeah. So no, I think that's where we need to go. We find a solution that
Wait,
takes the
let me
incentive.
see. How big is that book? Oh my God! No.
No, but Barack's second book is almost the same size of that.
What
Barack Obama's second book is like 700 and something pages long.
Wow.
This book
Yeah.
lay out. It laid
No,
out.
I'll get a copy. I'll get a copy of it.
The political and the
So then,
moral.
all the thing they lay out, you can't tell it when you can't hear none.
No.
You keep saying let's change the system, but you keep telling it how.
Go through it.
Anyway, let's take the money out of government jobs in Liberia, and we'll be on the right track.
Thank you very. What I was saying, me, I get nothing, Peter. I was saying you the bill that was proposed by Senator Dillon. I have a copy. No. It's serious, and people do that a lot, but it's serious. Look, you have to start somewhere.
Let me tell you how unserious it is.
Go ahead. I want to hear.
I was in Liberia in September 2024. Right, I had heard about that bill before I went to Liberia, so I took my time and walked to the Capitol building, made an appointment to see the senator to say, "Look, I am from the diaspora. I think yes, I don't believe it will pass because your cronies will never vote for it. But at least if we can get diaspora support behind it, the Liberian people might hear about it, and then maybe we'll do it." We saw, and he wouldn't make the time to just have a 5 minute conversation with me. So he's not serious about it.
Who did you communicate through? You should have called me.
My brother, I went to speak to Kwame. I met Kwame personally. I met the senator in his office, but he was too busy to sit down with me for 5 minutes.
Amen.
Right?
And
all I wanted, I ain't want comment. All I wanted is, look, this is a good thing you're doing. Let's put the diaspora support behind it, right? And just make noise. We know it will not pass, but at least make enough noise so the Liberian people can hear about it. He wouldn't make me the
So this is what I will say to you before I may start telling you all the pictures in here, please 700 pages. Let me say this to you. Yeah? We cannot allow your disappointment in Senator Dillon to thwart an attempt to take the money out of the legislature. That should be our focus. Let's take the money out. In the place let's take the money out of government. In the place we need to start is in the legislature, because the legislature control. Misery loves company. If we take money from the senators and the law, guess what they're going to do? They will take money from the SOEs. They will take money from the minister. They are not going to sit down and their pay reduce, and they sit down and allow LEC to be making certain money and LTA.
Mr. Powell, let me stop you there. Let me. I'm not disappointed, right? Okay. There are three things. There are three priorities in my life. Number one is God. Number two is my family. Number three is the Republic of Liberia, right? Okay. All I do, I'm not like Mr. Tao. I don't just say things need to change. If I try to go down this route and it ain't working, I find another route. You heard me say that I'm trying to develop something, right? I try one route. So look, say he's doing it, let's just support him, right? There's no need to reinvent the wheel. He said he want my help. Sorry, Chief. I'm going to try a different way. I will never give up on Liberia. I will get angry. I will forget about them for maybe 1 or 2 more, but we'll come back there again. We got choice. Some of us, with the how we're looking, we can't give up on the country because we want the country can be better. And all of it. Do you know what it would be like, Mr. Partner? Do you know what it would be like? Just think about it. When I've been to Harper City, Meriden County, right? Do you know what it would be like for Mr. Nangbe wanted to tell my man, let's take a trip to Harper. We go to Liberia and we drive from over, and the same day we get to Harper, got a road twin, Canada. So do you know how proud you would be? Just think about it.
I agree. I went from Accra to Cape Coast and back in 1 day.
Yeah. Do you know how proud we would be?
So I understand totally.
We stopping on the road, eating all that bush meat in, drinking palm wine. Do you know how proud we would be to be in our own country? All of us, that's all we want. And I care who the president, and I care who the minister, and I care who the nobody, as long as we can all come and enjoy. When you get a little small thing and say, let me invest it, that you know it's safe. That's all we want. And the people on the ground should get opportunities to work. Right? They should stop coming here and looking for, like Mr. Tao can say, the leftovers, right? Find Liberians on the ground and employ them to do the job. Some of them will probably be more committed than us, the diaspora people.
Okay, thank you so much, Sanamwe. Let me go ahead on you two here. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mike, and thanks to Dr. Booty and also Mr. Towel, as well as our audience. Great show. Shout out to my Philadelphia Eagles. It's going down this weekend. I'm not sure. Well, the show happened before the Super Bowl, so. And I'm also reading the comments. Thanks to the audience, some are wishing the Eagles well, including leaders being Mr. or Miss, I don't know, Fix Electronics. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mike, I sent you a link. I also put it on my timeline. The Donald Trump administration is, they're triggering a lot of stuff, but most specifically, the immigration policy is, they're throwing out a dragnet. And some Liberians, up to maybe 1,500, will be affected. The government of Liberia is holding a meeting tomorrow along with Yola, and so to the consternation of Mr. Tao, of course. But I put it in our chat room. I also put it on my timeline. It's going to be by Zoom. I encourage our Liberians contact your chapter leadership because they will be making the representation tomorrow. But it is happening at 12 Eastern, 5 p.m. GMT. GMT. So there is going to be a Zoom meeting where we are going to be discussing how to address the immigration issue that's emerging out of this new government. So I'm encouraging all Liberians to take interest in this matter. There are people who don't have status that is going to affect them. But there are some of us who even have, legally here that could affect us. They can denaturalize you. There's a lot of stuff that they can do. And so we encourage all of us to take interest in this. We just concluded a meeting about an hour or so before the show. We'll be meeting again tonight, kind of synchronize our approach. And so the foreign minister through the embassy in DC will be having this meeting tomorrow. And I encourage, those of you who can to join in. It's on my timeline. It's a Zoom link. You can type in the ID and the passcode, and you can join this meeting, to make your views known. And let this government know that most of us Liberians are here legally. We're not criminals, and we're contributing to this economy. And so the 1,500 people that they have identified to be deported, and they have to explain to us how these people are falling afoul of the law. So I encourage all of you to please join that meeting tomorrow. But back to the show quickly. I know I've already taken up most of my time, but we started with the county meet. We think this is an opportunity that the government should really, really, really try to look into for its economic benefit as well as for its peace building benefit, because we know sports unite all of us. It's one of those times when nobody cares which county you're from, nobody cares which party you're from. So they need to find a way to rotate it and take it out of Monrovia, regionalize it if it's possible. And yes, they can play the finals, once in a while in Monrovia, but take it to some of these regional capitals so that you will redirect the money, outside of Monrovia, And then we looked at the National Bank, this government is no wonder why they're having so much difficulties attracting money, because they're bleeding money. The people you're going to ask for assistance, they do their research. Chances are they either have an embassy or they have a consulate or some kind of way. They're following what's happening. You're going to ask somebody for money, and yet you're terminating somebody who has time left on their contract, and then you're paying them off. 1.1 million, almost 1.5 million dollars. Why? And that's not only one person. There's several other people. Yeah. So at the end of the day, we're bleeding money. Who's going to give us money? It doesn't make sense. We're taking $150,000 and giving it to legislators, for whatever we call it, constituency engagement and all of that. I don't know if most of you remember, we had a county development fund. I think Ellen started struggling with it, and we have people as well. But I know Maryland County was getting $200,000 a year. Mm-hmm. That money is released to the county, and then there's a council meeting where the local people decide how to spend the money. They send that to the legislative caucus, and then they appropriate the money, But that stopped since early time. I understand this is the money now. Instead of giving it directly, they're passing it through the legislators, and I think they're not doing the right thing by our people. So they need to look into that. And then on the Yeke thing, we talked about how do you take a legislator and bottle it through him outside of session? It's a democracy. It doesn't make sense. So we need to grow up. People are looking up to us. We're the oldest republic on the continent, and we inspire a lot of people recently by our transition. We have 2 living presidents. The most recent past president, while the votes were being counted with around 20,000 separation, he conceded. That we're proud of that. Now look at what we're doing. We're burning the Capitol, lifting a legislator and throwing him out simply because he disagrees with our conduct on the floor. We can do better. We're praying for Liberia. We're praying for this government to succeed. When they succeed, Liberia wins. Thank you very much.
Quick. We had 3 living presidents.
Sorry?
Yeah. John Katira. No, the million bring Katira noise here. That don't mind.
No, it's not that. We have to. He's a living president.
I didn't get the question. What is he asking, Mr. Tao?
No, I said we have 3 living presidents.
Oh,
3.
And then 3 former living presidents.
Charles Taylor.
Charles
Taylor just turned 77 a few days ago.
I forgot the Congo boy. That one I forgot.
Yeah, he's living.
All right, Charles Gange.
Just turned 77 a few days ago,
Gange. Thank you very much for the correction, Mr. Tao.
That banana Doppler.
Thank you guys so much.
When Joel the Dakwana too now?
Yeah. That was his title. Thank you guys so much. I want to give a special thanks to our audience for tuning in on this Sunday and every Sunday. We appreciate you guys for following the show. You guys have become loyal fans, and we do not take that for granted. We want to urge you to continue to share the show afterwards. Invite your friends, invite your neighbors, invite other Facebook friends to share the show. Let's not be selfish with such a good show on every Sunday. To our panelists, thank you guys for taking the time to come out and spend the 2 hours with us. Yes, I believe. Yeah, 2 hours. And we appreciate the time you guys spend. Mr. Tao, to next week, you don't wear that coat, so you come by here in your t-shirt. So you'll be intimidating us.
Don't worry, Mr. Tao.
Yeah.
I like your suit. Don't mind.
Thank you.
So Mike, I'm filing an official protest over the absence of Mr. Wallow today, Sam Wallow. So I'm filing a protest.
Oh. Okay, and I will look into that because I learned later there's a platform that was supposed to be on that we're not on.
Okay.
So and that might be why Mr. Wallow missed the show.
Got you.
I'm guessing that is why. But I'm not sure yet. I will. But if in case that it is, then I will give him a free pass. It's a lucky break for him this week because that's me easy on his government. But thank you guys for the week. Thank you guys for your time. Thanks to our audience, and before we go, we'll say we wish well for Liberia. It is the place that we cannot be deported from.
We are Liberia. Liberia is our